As I'm sure you heard by now, the Flames and Canucks hooked up on a huge deal last night. Elias Lindholm gets sent to Vancouver. In exchange, the Flames get an absolute boatload. First round pick in this year's draft. Given where the Canucks are in the standings, it's most likely going to be a low first rounder between 28th and 32nd. Andrei Kuzmenko, we'll get back to that in a second. That's super interesting. 19-year-old defenseman Hunter Brustevich, D-man Yoni Yermo, and a conditional 4th round pick. And the conditions on that pick are that if Vancouver makes it to the Western Conference Final, that 4th round pick turns into a 3rd round pick. Also key in this deal, the Flames retain 0 on Lindholm. Alright, now to the juicy stuff. Depending on the person, you're either going to say, wow, that's a whole lot of mid assets for a really good player in Lindholm, or you're going to say that's such an overpay for a mid player in Lindholm. Or maybe you think it's a win-win. Now, we talked about it in our most recent video where we actually covered the report that the Canucks were interested in Lindholm. Even prior to an extension here, as a pure rental, Elias Lindholm still is so valuable for the Canucks and a potential Stanley Cup run. What's key with him is his versatility. You can load up the Lotto line if you want and make Lindholm the second line center. You can roll with a murderer's row down the middle of Pettersson, Miller, and Lindholm. Or remember, during his first couple years in Calgary, Lindholm played on the right wing with Monahan and Gaudreau. You could load him up beside Pettersson on the right side. Yes, he struggled in Calgary this year, only putting up 9 goals, but as we've seen with him in the past, if you surround him with elite talent, he will produce, and that'll bode really well for the Canucks in the playoffs. I think he's a fantastic fit on that team. I gotta say though, I was not expecting the Flames to get that many assets for him. The funniest part about this whole trade to me is that Kuzmenko had Calgary on his no-trade list, and he actually had to sign off that he was willing to go there in order for the trade to get done. That's part of the reason why it took so long. Look, I know he's struggled this season and he's been nowhere near the player he was last year, but 39 goal scorers don't grow on trees in this league, man, especially guys who've done it less than a year ago. Even if he does decide that he doesn't want to stay in Calgary long term, which is not a stretch given that he had them on his no trade list, the Flames should be able to flip him for even more assets, especially if they're able to get his game and more notably his goal scoring ability back on track, similar to what they've done with Sharangovich. Then you've got the young kid Brustevich, who was just picked in the 3rd round of this past year's draft by the Canucks. He's 3rd overall in OHL scoring among defensemen right now. Actually, he's 3rd overall in points, not even just defensemen. Now, does that mean he's the next Cale Makar? No. But it does mean that, hey, you might have something good cooking here. Yoni Yermo was also a 3rd round pick, but in 2020, so he's a little bit older. And that 1st round pick, it's nice to have, you never know, but it's most likely going to be low 1st round. Plus, you've got that 4th rounder that could possibly turn into a 3rd. You never know. Pavel Datsyuk was a 6th rounder, but those are just so incredibly rare to find. Overall, this trade is just absolutely massive on both sides. I know there's only Lindholm going over to the Canucks, but hey, sometimes one big piece like that is what can push you over the edge. I do think the Flames did really well in the return for this trade, but I'd be careful before saying, oh, the Canucks got fleeced, Flames win this trade big time, overpay. If Vancouver goes to the 3rd round, Stanley Cup final, or hey, dare I even say it, and Lindholm contributes to that, that's all the Canucks can ask for in a season where they're clearly trying to make some serious playoff noise. And on the Flames side of things, you had an asset that, let's be real, wasn't going to re-sign in Calgary. Not only do you not let him walk for nothing in UFA, but you get multiple assets in return that help you now and in the future. Good job, Conroy. Obviously, let me know your thoughts on this trade in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you want more Flames or Canucks videos. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.